warming up my car right now because it's currently 30 degrees. Fall didn't even stand a chance. Fall did not stand a chance because we probably had like chilly weather for like maybe a week, if that. And we're in the 30s, the high is 40. Anyway, this is welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo. In this video, I'll be rereading the Hunger Games series. And this time I'm going to be adding the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because that is apparently a prequel. But I'm going to be reading it after the trilogy because the movie's coming out like the 7th or the 17th of November. I don't know, I might see it, but I wanted to read it just in case I do see it. I'm gonna read it in that order because I haven't read the Hunger Games in like at least 10 years. I don't really remember how like the world works. I'm doing this right now because I want to start reading the book, and I don't know why I don't just do my intros after the fact. Maybe I should do that. But I wanted to do this because for some reason I feel like I can't read something until I start the video. So this is my permission to start reading the book. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I probably won't like be saying like everything play by play, but this will be full of spoilers because I assume a lot of people have already read the Hunger Games. So if you're watching this is gonna be spoiler filled. If you don't want to be spoiled, if you have not read it, please don't watch the video. Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop in and talk about what I've already read so far. There's some things I definitely remember, some things I don't. So I read at work today. I got to like chapter 4. So I'm on 11%. I didn't remember why the games were a thing. Like I remember it was something dark. People's kids are literally dying by the hands of other kids. It's crazy. 12 to 18-year-olds killing each other is insane. And thinking that that's entertainment. How about y'all get in the ring? How about I see what y'all can do? How do y'all get down? But apparently there was 13 districts at first, which I forgot about this, and they rebelled and got slaughtered or whatever, but apparently they didn't. I was talking to a coworker today about this, and she was spoiling it for me, which I didn't care. It's Hunger Games. I don't care to be spoiled because I'm gonna read it regardless. She was telling me, like, I already knew that Peeta and Katniss get together. I know at first she's like, oh, he's just soft bread boy. I always thought that Gale was kind of like a brother figure to her, and like in this one, she's said like 2 or 3 times so far. She doesn't see him in a romantic way at all. And I remember at one point, I don't know if they dated, but I think she was using him in substitution for Peeta. I don't remember. Oh my god, and I gotta watch these movies, y'all. And then, so at 12 years old, they get their first entry into this little drawing, right? Every year, Katniss is putting in more because she gotta get the tesserae, which is like, I don't remember if it's a form of currency or, yeah, I think it's a form of currency that buys their oil and, it was oil and what? She does it to feed her family, basically. So she has like over 20 entries and she's 16, which is like not uncommon in this place. Like Gale, her best friend, he's 18, like he just turned 18. He just turned 18 and he's like got over 40. But literally, I forgot, like it starts out immediately not immediately, but Prim was picked. And I remember like that's like the whole thing, Katniss being like, I volunteer to tribute, I volunteer to tribute. And it was like a meme at one point. I remember that. I don't know why I thought that was in the second book. Like I know eventually Prim dies. And I know Rue, that's her name. I've been trying to remember her name. Also in this book, she's described as dark. And I'm pretty sure when I watched the movie, she was not dark brown. And this is giving Diversion again with Katrina. Was that her name? When are the dark black girls going to get their shine? Because, okay, Percy Jackson, they do, but that's Disney, and I don't think that we're really with Disney anymore. Okay, so Katniss volunteers. I don't know what I was saying, but I had to cut myself off because have some discipline, have some self-regulation, girl. Oh, and then everybody was like, how you do? Period. I feel like I was saying something else. They were in the room. Oh, they're eating with Effie, and she was like, I'm so glad that you guys actually know how to like eat food properly, because the last, like the tributes last year, they literally were eating with their hands like savages. Like what the and then Katniss, yeah, the real bitch that she is, she was like, oh, I'm gonna eat the rest of my meal with my hands, and then I'm gonna wipe my face off with the tablecloth. Has there been a realer? I don't care what y'all say about her. I feel like she's definitely more likable than Tris. And this is coming from like, I was a former Hunger Games girl. I don't know, at the end of this, I'm gonna have to see which one I like the most. Because Diversion, she really held herself down. But also I finished more of Hunger Games and I have more of like a connection with Hunger Games. So we will see. But Katniss is already more likable to me. I know she's like trying to be all hard and like that, but she's had to be. So I see who she is. I see her for who she is. And I love her. 16-year-olds should not be going through this kind of shit. Oh my god. And then when Peeta threw the bread that was burnt before he got in trouble with his mom, and she thought about that forever, and then he made eye contact with her at school. It's the beginning of a love story. you know. Yeah. Gale thinks he's gonna be in game, but he is literally like family. And I hope they don't become actually together. I remember like it was like suggested because he's in love with her, but I refuse. I rebuke that right now. And that's it. That's all I have to talk to y'all about. Like, I'm saying that's it, but I talked for 16 minutes. I'm probably going I have the audiobook now on my Libby, so I'm going to listen to it on my iPad while I read on here because I don't know how to do both on my Kindle. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's on Libby. So I'm going to do that, but I'm probably going to watch a little YouTube first, and I'll see if I give y'all some updates. I don't know. I finished it. I did give it 4.5 stars, rounded up to 5 on Goodreads. I just can't wait for Katniss to fall in love with Peeta. Also, the whole time I've been reading Peeta, I've been thinking of Lois from Family Guy, which I haven't watched Family Guy since I was like early high school. And there's this clip, if you're like chronically online, you probably have seen this clip. I don't even really remember it because I haven't watched the show in a long time. I think Lois is like going through this whole thing, like she's about to die like multiple times. Like she's going through it, like she's getting drugged through the mud. And then at the end, like she's safe or something, and she was like, "Whoever you are, thank you." And then she just walks off. Like, it's not very dramatic, but it's kind of dramatic. "Whoever you are, thank you." It's just always in my head. And like how she's always like, "Oh, Peeta," you know, and that's all I could think about when I was reading Peeta. And I'm like, girl, be for real right now. I feel so bad because Peeta is just so, what the girl's saying, cinnamon roll. I've highlighted it, but it was like, she doesn't even see the effect that she has, and like, this was fake for you. I feel so bad because Katniss is over here like, okay, if I kiss him, I'll get some food. Okay, if I show like some emotional sensitivity and like depth, then I'll get something. And she saved Peeta's life, so I really don't give a at the end of the day. And then for her to be like, "Oh, the closer we get to District 12, I get more confused." Girl, you done said plenty of times you don't care about Gale. And then like she's having moments with Peeta and she's like, "I just feel like I'm betraying someone back home. Oh my god, like I feel like Gale's watching me right now while I'm kissing Peeta." Like, what are we supposed to do with that information? What? I was talking about Gale. Oh, the Capitol. The Capitol is so mad. And then Catching Fire, like the taglines or whatever were like, "Oh, the Capitol wants the revenge." Because it's like, okay, yeah, you are a dummy bitch. You are dumb. Like, are you kidding me? They're mad because someone finally got their lick back. Someone finally made them the laughing stock. And it's like, you have been watching children die annually for 74 years. You will be okay if 2 people come out alive out of 24. But I'm like, what did you expect? Like, obviously they didn't think they were gonna win. No one really thought they were gonna win. And then the more I read about Senna, I love Senna because isn't that Lenny Kravitz in the movie? I remember it was a light-skinned fine man. That's all I remember when I was a kid. He had the eyeliner. I thought he was that. Senna, I think Senna died. And I feel like it's coming up soon. I thought it was gonna be in this book, but I feel like, you know, the little metal disc that they go in that shoots them up or whatever and puts them on the stage or whatever, I feel like that got blown up and they thought it was gonna be her, but it was him and he sacrificed himself. I could be imagining things that would eat. I'm hoping that's not the case, but something's going on. Oh my god. And then Rue died. Are they gonna kill all the black people? Because Thresh died. I'm pretty sure he was black. I'm over it. I'm over it. And then him being like, "Did you kill that little girl? Did you kill her?" To Clove. I was like, eat that bitch up. Eat that bitch up right now. Get that bitch out of here. Get that bitch the fuck out of here now. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Y'all will see me tomorrow reading Catching Fire. Or whenever y'all see me. Hey y'all, Peeta and Katniss are living in the Victor's Village and they're pissed off. They're like, a 16-year-old playing us, laughing in our face is so crazy. And now they're just all really invested in her and Peeta because, well, at least if they're actually going to be together, then we won't look as stupid because it'll be like, it was an act of love, not an act of rebellion, eating the nightlock berries. Is it really that deep? You mean to tell me you have watched every single year 23 children die for the last 74 years? And now when one child stands up to you and saves another person's life, and she's like, "And I have to be with Peeta for the rest of my life and probably have kids with him and all this stuff." And I'm just like, they're too invested. Like, after a certain time, are they just not going to forget? I don't know. And then just now she went to the first district on like the tour or whatever, and she went to Rue's district. And this old man was like, and then everybody, ooh, excuse me. But everybody's doing the sign. And they're getting back on whatever they're on, the train or whatever, and they shoot the old man. And I kind of remember that in the movie. I'm just upset. I forgot what she said it meant. It was like goodbye for sure, and there's like 2 other meanings. But like they're literally mourning 2 children dying. I don't know, the peacemakers, like how peace. I hate them all. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. President Snow talked to her ass, and that's, yeah. He needs to just die already. I know he's spitting up that blood. Ooh, okay, y'all. I highlighted this one part. I can't tell if I'm recording or not. It looks like my phone is barely on. But, Katniss ate with this. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, but the president was like, do you have any idea what that would mean? How many people would die? What conditions those left would have to face? Whatever problems anyone may have with the capital, believe me when I say that if it released its grip on the districts for even a short time, the entire system would collapse. And she was like, it must be very fragile if a handful of berries can bring it down. I was so proud. Yes, niece. I was so proud of her. I was like, yes. Give it to him straight, his old decrepit ass. Okay, and he was like, it's fragile, but not in the way that you suppose. Just shut up. Now she's trying to convince everybody that she's in love with Peeta, and Peeta is still like hurt. He's like, you used me the whole time in the games. Like nothing about this was real for you. And then Gale had kissed her, I guess, in the forest when she came back. And then they never talked about it ever again. And then Snow's like, I know about the kiss. I know about the hunting. Okay, and that's the update. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Right now, I'm on like 66% of the book. Okay, so some shit has popped off. I like highlight a lot of foreshadowing, like Haymitch kind of like mentoring and just saying, you don't know what you got yourself into. You're gonna have to make like a lot of hard choices. Like this is not easy being a victor. Snow basically being like, marrying Peeta is not enough to, you know, get rid of this whole uprising rebellion thing. What she finally realizes that he played her, because there were already like little hints of rebellion and uprising, and then this was just like the tip of the iceberg that pushed everybody, you know. And then they're at the party and Plutarch asks Katniss to dance with him, and he touches his watch and there's like a mockingjay symbol, and I'm like, what the is that? So I don't know if I don't know, because Katniss brushes off and she's like, oh, of course, like he didn't want anybody to see it because he doesn't want it to become like a knockoff thing. He like writes it off, and I'm like, there's something there and I can't remember. Oh my god. And then Peeta said something. So basically Katniss has been having really bad nightmares about the games and everything, and so has Peeta, but like his is more like it paralyzes him with fear and then he wakes up. So she's like, how come you never wake me up? And he was like, because like just don't worry about it. And she was like, wake me up. And then he said, it's not necessary. My nightmares are usually about losing you. I'm okay once I realize you're here. Why would he say that? Like I just started tearing up actually, and it's not okay. I'm showing y'all my eyes. I did this when I'm with my best friend, and I'm like, Nicole, look. Because, like, we'll be watching something. I'll be like, I won't even say any words. Sometimes I'll just be like. And she'll know that that means that I'm tearing up. Okay, so then District 8 rebelled. At least, like, 4 or 5 other districts, like, have started to rebel and revolt. Oh, my God. And then Gale has said to run away in the first book. And then she comes back and she's like, okay, we should definitely run away now because some getting up. Like, there's no way to correct this. So he was like thinking, like he was getting excited because she was like, we gotta move, we gotta like run away, we gotta get the kids, we gotta get our parents and all that. And he was like getting happy, and he was like, oh, I love you. And she was like, I know. He didn't want to hear that, like, and she said, I know, and you know what you are to me, period. And then she says in her head, it's not enough. He breaks my grip. And then she says, Gale, I can't think about anyone that way now. All I can think about every day, every waking minute since they drew Prim's name at the reaping is how afraid I am. And that's really all she has time for right now. And then she brings up bringing Haymitch, and he's like, Haymitch? And she brings up Peeta, and he was like, his family is definitely going to snitch. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And she was like, no, he's coming. And he's like, so what happens if he doesn't want to come? Are you going to leave him? And then she was just like, well, no, he's gonna, no. And then he's like, what about if I don't go? Are you gonna leave me? And she's like, come on now, get your head out of your ass. You're coming. He was mad because she's like running away and being a coward, and all the other people that live in their district are gonna have to face the consequences. Like they might tear them up like District 13. He's just like, what the how could you stand by and like try to run away whenever there's people that like aren't in the positions that we are to get away and have like, even though they would struggle, they don't have as many resources. Like they don't know how to hunt and they don't know how to do all these other things for survival. It's cruel basically. And he's like, I'm not standing for this shit. I don't want nothing from the Capitol, because she tried to give him some little gloves that Senna had or whatever, and he was like, I don't want nothing from the Capitol. And she was like, was that a dig at me? It just says no one knows what happened to him. Yeah, he was still in command of the district, but now he's nowhere to be found. I don't know if he's gonna ever come back. But this guy, that's when, oh God, Gale got whipped because they found him with a wild turkey in his hand, which is like nothing compared to what they usually catch. And he got whipped like 40 times. And he passed out at like 30. And I was just like, I don't really remember that. Like, I remember him standing, like, I'm getting glimpses of like scenes in my head about when I watched the movies. And I'm just like, what? And she starts thinking about how he would be if the roles were reversed and he was with a girl and they were flaunting it around, and she was just like pissed. She said, the hatred I feel for him, for the phantom girl, for everything is so real and immediate it chokes me. Gale is mine, I am his. Anything else is unthinkable. Why did it take him being whipped within an inch of his life to see it? And I think this, besides the politics, this might have confused me when I was in middle school. A 16-year-old girl, she doesn't really know. She hasn't seen romance and love really emulated in front of her. She's literally had to just, since she was 11 years old, she's been fighting every day for her family's lives. Like, she is not giving a about what normal girls 16-year-olds are thinking of. No one in this world is, I don't think. They're all working. And it's pitiful. It's actually so sad. And then literally the next page, she says, I wish that PETA were here to hold me until I remember I'm not supposed to wish that anymore. I have chosen Gale and the rebellion, and the future with PETA is the capital's design, not mine. But then just last book, she was saying how she felt so much longing for him, but like it was buried down beneath like guilt and shame from how she did him. Then she meets Twill and Bonnie in the forest, which is in the woods, and they ran away from District 8, which was the one that was like having the uprising, and they're on their way to go to 13, which I don't know how that's gonna work out, but they're like, you have to pay attention. Like when they show us the like ruins of District 13, it's the same clip, the same goddamn bird that's always in the clip. Like, you need to pay attention. And then she sees it and she's like, what the f-? They're crazy. Like, I'm looking into it, but like, that's crazy, right? And then she brings up to Haymitch, and Haymitch is like, does it even matter? Because Haymitch is Haymitch. Well, my coworker told me, and I've told y'all before, that I already know about District 13 slightly, and Candace is pissed. And it makes sense now that my coworker told me that she kills the head person of the District 13, because she's mad. She's like, what the f? We've all been struggling and dying over here, and they're just underground. And I'm like, girl, how could you be so mad? You was about to run away too. Every 25 years, they have like an anniversary to remind the people, you're the reason why your children are dying. On the 25th one, they made that every district vote for the child they were going to put in the games. Horrible. The 50th one, every district was reminded to bring twice as many tributes. So like that means 4 every 12. So 48 different tributes, and 1 won. And that year is the one that Haymitch won. I've been wanting to know Haymitch's story, and I'm like, why does Snow get a book and he's not even in the games ever? And then we get like Haymitch's story a little bit. Like, low-key, I don't really want to read Snow's book. Oh, but in the third one, they're bringing all the victors back, and Peeta's like, I want to protect Katniss, and Haymitch and Katniss are like, well, we're protecting Peeta. Last time I was chosen, this time he gets to be chosen. He needs to live. I cannot live through it if he dies and I stay. Oh, but Haymitch is like, you could live 100 lifetimes and I deserve him, you know? And it's like, yeah, but why are you doing that? We all know that. And I hate to be like, Katniss ain't because she's been through a lot, but you know, ease up on her. Not too much. Not too much. Then they didn't even let them say goodbye to their family this time. Like, you just threw this on us last minute that we had to go back, and you can't even say bye to people. Okay, so in the, like, yesterday or 2 days ago, I remember I was like, Cinna's gonna die, Cinna's gonna die. And it was because he made a political statement with one of her gowns. And I don't know if it's about to happen now. I'm preparing myself, so I'm not like, because when I watched the movies, I was like, but I don't think I ever cried. But Peeta gets on the stage and is like, we're already married, and don't forget about the baby. And everyone was like, what the f? Oh, and then there's another quote from Peeta. I don't know why I used to kind of like resent him a little bit when I was younger. I'm always on the wrong side of like love interest, because when I was a kid, and this is all childish, like that's the thing, there's growth, there's character development happening here. When I was 10 and I read Twilight, I read the whole series, and I really didn't even know what sex was at the time, because I was like, why the fuck they breaking the bed? Like, why is there feathers and all this stuff going around in the room? Like, I was so confused, and I didn't realize until like I was older and I watched the movies, and I was like, they was f***ing. They was f***ing. Or are we? What were we talking about? Girl, what am I talking about? Because I'm talking about Peeta. Oh, so Twilight. That was so embarrassing. Twilight, I love Jacob because I liked werewolves and I was scared of vampires. So I was always like, I don't go. I know Jacob's creepy and weird, but Jacob's the one. And Taylor Lautner is so fine to me. Like, Robert Pattinson, he's not ugly, but he's not really... He doesn't do it like Taylor does. I'll also just say that. And then when I read this, I was like, Gale is so fine. Like, I thought he was so fine. And I was like, Gale is the one. I know I don't like him right now. Well, right now he hasn't done anything. But I remember eventually there's a reason for me not to like him. But anyway, Katniss is making a joke with Peeta. She's like, do you think we would have ended up like the other victors if we would have had like time? Oh, he asked it, and she says, sure, especially you. And he said, why me? And she's like, because you have a weakness for beautiful things and I don't, with an air of superiority. They will lure you They would lure you into their capital ways and you'd be lost entirely. And he was like, having an eye for beauty isn't the same thing as a weakness, Peter points out, except possibly when it comes to you. And then he's just like, shall we? And they just go on about... Oh, when I read that, I had to stop and I highlight, and I was just like, having an eye for beauty isn't the same thing as a weakness, except possibly when it comes to you. You cannot tell me he wasn't spitting. Like, what do the kids say? Was that not Riz? Please. Oh, and I remember Wirus and Beatty, and I remember people like, oh, I love an underdog story. I remember people really like underestimating them, and they were actually very crucial in the games. I vaguely remember that. Oh my god. And then Katniss, in her talent thing, whatever, before the games, whenever she did like a noose, like did the tie knot and did it over the dummy and wrote Seneca Kane on it, and like all of them were shook. Because really, it could be any of them. She's eating the girls up. And this is why I'm not even really decided yet, but this is premature. This is why I am a Hunger Games girl. Because Triss is a badass, so she can do all she can do, but this is authentic. Baby girl Katniss barely has to even think. And she's a revolutionary. Half the time, I feel like Triss didn't even really know what she was doing for real. Oh, and then the last words that Haymitch said was, you just remember who the enemy is. That's all. I'm like, the enemy? And then I remember when I was talking to my coworker that they're supposed to turn, what's his name, Peeta against Katniss. And I don't know if that like happens more towards the end for real, because we're already in the like last third of the book. I'm like, the enemy? So he must have already known that they were gonna pit Peeta against Katniss. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. Maybe he was just saying that to say that. But it's getting heated. It is getting heated. I don't know when I last talked to y'all. I finished Catching Fire yesterday at work, and then I started Mockingjay. So right now I'm on 20% of Mockingjay. I gave Catching Fire 4.5 stars, but Hunger Games, on Goodreads, it's leaned more towards 5. I enjoyed it more. I gave it 4.5, and then on Goodreads, I gave it 4 for Catching Fire, but they're both 4.5. But I enjoyed Hunger Games more. There's uprisings going on. Peeta is a sweetheart. Gail is giving it to her real. Did I talk about Twill and Bonnie going up to District 13? Oh my god, they didn't even live. They got to District 13, and Twill and Bonnie, they don't even know who them people is. Ugh. They made it that far all the way from 8, and then died on their way from 12 to 13. Crazy business. Okay, so now we're in the games, and they basically, Peeta and Katniss are with Finnick and Mags, the older lady. The arena is like a dome, and it's like got a force field, so if you throw something, it comes back like burnt. They surviving. Then they find out that it's like all basically like a time clock, so like they find out different, say for example, there's lightning that hits the trees over here, there's like a blood shower over here, you know, all these different things happen at different times. Oh god. And then Peeta was like, if it's between me and you, just let me go. Like, no one's gonna miss me. You have people to go back to. He was like, if you die and I live, there's no life for me at all back in District 12. You're my whole life. I would never be happy again. And like, I feel like this is coming out of nowhere. Like, apparently he's been in love with her 17 and 5, 12 years. I just feel like this is just like, what? They weren't even friends before they got into these games. You're my whole life? But I mean, like, if there's only one person gonna live, like, girl. Then they kiss. And then Katniss says, I feel that thing again. The thing I only felt once before. In the cave last year when I was trying to get Haymitch to send us food. I kissed Peeta about 1,000 times during those games and after, but there was only one kiss that made me feel something stir deep inside. I thought I was something of an expert on hunger, but this is an entirely new kind. She couldn't get enough. Finally, Miss Girl is figuring out her feelings for Peeta. We've already talked about that's not really her fault. She's always been in survival mode. She's been taking care of her family. This is not really her fault. But I'm like, sister, it's not hard. Like, he's like the easiest person to love. Please, please, let that man love you. Let that boy love you, because they're both 17. Let him love you. Please. You deserve a little soft girl era. At least during the games. Then, something happened. She shoots the arrow into the force field, bursts the force field, and then she gets picked up. And then you find out, like, there's Capitol rebels, like Plutarch, the gamekeeper or whatever. He's in cahoots with this, and he showed her the watch, and he was like, I was doing that because, like, as a mentor, I wanted to tell you about the Mockingjay. Like, also, like, you know, yeah, like, this is me. Yeah, and they're in District 13 now, underground. They're trying to convince her to become the Mockingjay, but she's just really worried about Peeta. She's like, why would y'all not get Peeta? Because Peeta, Enobarius, and Joanna, they're all at the Capitol, so they're holding on to them. And she's like, he's getting tortured there. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Like, if you had to save anybody, why would it not be Peeta? Come on now. Come on now. Use your brain. So she's mad, and Haymitch has been a part of this whole thing the whole time, and he didn't tell her, and she just feels betrayed. I get that she feels betrayed, but like, she's not a good actress. She does her own thing. She gotta go her own way. Very Vanessa Hudgens style. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for you on Catching Fire. So I can return that. Okay, so I'm on 20% of Mockingjay. So the people of District 13, they're supposed to be like, she's so pissed at them because she's like, if I was in their position, I would never let all of our other districts survive like how we've been surviving, barely surviving basically. And they're kind of using the people in District 10 as like soldiers and like extra bodies. It doesn't really matter, but they're not like what District 12 expected them to be. There's also corruption and abuse going on. And then she was basically like, she starts up a deal with President Coin, basically for like immunity for like the traitors, which is PETA and stuff like that, because he was asking for a ceasefire on both sides. Everyone that's for the rebellion is like, why would he say that? Because basically he's undermining like what they're doing for society, and he just feels like it should just all stop. And now I'm on page 69, which is 20%, and they're basically trying to coach her and like get her in front of the cameras. Which is like, why don't you just put her outside like in the field? You always say that like her most emotional impact is when she's like in real life situations and she's fighting for her life. So put her out there. Hey y'all, honestly, I tried to find the last video that I recorded for y'all. I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in like 3 or 4 days. I'm on the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so I don't know if the last clip was me talking about Catching Fire or if I ever talked about Mockingjay. I done dropped the ball, y'all. I've been busy, and it's currently 12 a.m. on Tuesday, November 7th. Oh, today, Iron Flame is supposed to come out. And I knew Prim died. I was like, no way I imagined that. Like, I knew Rue died. I just remember I was like, oh, that's so sad. Both of them? But she died at like the butt end of Mockingjay. For real, Suzanne. The deaths that bothered me the most, unfortunately, it wasn't Prim. Hate me if you want to. I already knew about her, and I knew about Senna. So like, maybe if I was reading this for the first time, I'd have like, you know, the worst deaths for me were Boggs and Finnick, because they were always on Katniss's side. They was riding or dying with that bitch. I gotta stop calling her bitch. She's like 17, but they was riding or dying with our girl, and I love that for her. She needs somebody in her corner because she's always had to take care of everyone else, and it's nice that people are looking out for her even though their lives ended shortly. That sucks. Her and PETA, I know that eventually they stay together, but it was looking rocky because he couldn't even mention her name without him going off. They really traumatized old boy, and I hated to see it because he's so sweet. He is my actual, I feel like if I had to pick a favorite character, it would be PETA. Before reading this the second time, I probably would have been like, oh, it's probably Katniss. Honestly, I think if I had never seen the movies, maybe Katniss would be my favorite. I was gagged. Even though I already knew about this, I was gagged when Katniss shot President Coin instead of Snup. She ate that up because Coin is a lying, backstabbing. If the whole point was to kill Katniss, you could have been killed Katniss. Unfortunately, like, I'm glad she didn't. And then having other people do your dirty work, not impressed. Not impressed. They are really, like, the whole country is really trembling at this 17-year-old girl shaking in their little boots. It's quite concerning, honestly. If a 17-year-old could shake up the world like this, then like she said, it's too fragile. I felt kind of bad. Like, the thing is, I don't know why I thought like we weren't fucking with Gale. He never really did anything bad or like wrong to me, except for when they were in the woods and he just like sprung a kiss on her. That's sexual harassment. Like, I know it's not that deep, but it is also. Because, like, she didn't ask for no kiss. Hello? Like, what happened to, can I kiss you? That's, like, the one time I was just like, who let a 13-year-old be a first responder? President Coin, I don't know if I really believe in hell for real, but if there is a place where one would go that is similar to hell, it would be that Coin. And she would deserve every lick of fire that brushed against any part of her flesh. Katniss asked Gale, she was like, was it one of your bombs? Because him and Beetee were working on something. And he was like, honestly, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna always think about it, whether I tell you or not, and I don't know. And then he just got a job somewhere else, and they just never talked to each other again. And I'm like, that's how it was gonna have to be. That's how it was gonna have to be, because if PETA lived, she was never gonna, you know? And then, like, she only felt something for PETA, which I'm glad she finally, you know, figured that out. Oh, and then 99%, you love me, real or not real. I tell him, real. Like, now this is my OTP. I haven't used that word since I was like 13. That phrase, is that a phrase? Okay, so now we can talk about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm on chapter 11 right now. This is my first time reading this book. I didn't know anything about it except for that it was from Snow's perspective, and honestly, I can give a rat's ass about snow, but that's like my main hindrance with reading this, because like that's why I feel like I'm not really getting into it, because okay, he's poor right now, and but his family's always been high standing and they've been like prestigious and shit like that. I don't feel sympathy. They're filthy rich and they're putting these kids in these games. He is actually one of the mentors, like that's his job. When I found out that, I was just like, he's not even in the game. I don't know where I thought he came from for him to be the president. Like obviously he wouldn't be born in the districts. Well, maybe, I don't know. Tribute that he's mentoring, her name is Lucy Gray. Yeah, Lucy Gray. During her reaping ceremony, she got called and like she threw a snake and put a snake down this girl's dress or something like that, and then she got on the stage and like grabbed the microphone and sang and like captivated the world. That becomes a theme, like the title becomes like a theme, because right now I just saw there was some mutation things with these snakes that bit one of the other mentors and they like turned into something else. Also, he really wants her to sing. Like singing is a thing in here, like real bad. Like there's lyrics and like there's old songs that remind him of his like parents that died, like really his mom. There's all these roses. I don't understand why it's so important, why their family loves roses so bad. And I want to know what drives him to be poisoning himself. I hope we get that. I remember I saw this tweet and somebody was like, you telling me that Snow's villain era started because of a bitch? And like, sorry to be calling that young lady a bitch, but that's what the tweet said. Also, Tigress is his cousin, and like Tigress is like very much in this book. And if you don't know, Tigress was in Mockingjay helping Katniss, Gale, Plutarch, and I don't know who else was alive at that point. She was hiding them out in her little shop. So I'm like, little does Snow know. So like maybe they fell out or something like that, because no way. Like they grew up together. Like they're close. They eat lima beans together. I forgot my point, but to circle back a little bit. Right now they're trying to make us feel some kind of connection between Lucy and his name is like Coriolanus, and every time I read it I'm like Cornelius. No way. Because some people call him Corio for short, and it's spelled Coriolanus. Coriolanus? I'm not doing that. Them capital parents are on some shit, because no way. There's someone named Fabricia whatnot. Everyone knows that this is inhumane. They're in a place of privilege, and it's just like a weird situation, because they have feel bad, but it's like y'all ain't been feeling bad about the districts. Like they literally treat these people like animals. Literally they have these tributes in a zoo and people are viewing them through bars. Tribute to like this with their hands in the thing, and children are running, putting food in their hands and then jumping back. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's just not looking that great for this book right now. And I feel like I'm putting my own opinions on the book. Like I already am like, I don't really give a fuck. So it's like changing my view about reading. Oh my god, and then one of the mentors, she was like taunting one of the tributes, like with the food. She was like making it look great and then was like handing out to her and then pulling it back and handing out, and like the audience was laughing at the zoo. Finally, the tribute snuck up on that, slit the throat, and then they shot down the kid. Taunting somebody with a sandwich that you know is hungry is crazy business. I really can't see myself giving this 4 and up. I hope I eat my words. I want to say, I don't know why I didn't think to say this in my other update, but like Sejanus, I've been calling him Sejanus in my head. I've been fucking with him this whole time, and he is in the arena right now, and they're like, we have to get somebody that he cares about to get in there and get him. So like Cornelius has to go in, so he in there. And like I haven't really seen a lot of the movie trailer, so like I remember seeing him in the arena, but I thought that was like the tour part. I don't know, like if he about to be in the games. Also, Lucy keeps saying it's not over until the Mockingjay sings. This was the 10th Hunger Games, so this was 65 years later that she's saying that. So I'm like, how long has this been brewing? This whole, like, the rebellion? I'm gonna put this tweet on the screen if I still... No, I probably can't find it. But, like, when things are actually happening in real life, like, all the genocides happening in the world right now, you're quiet. It's hush. But yeah, I saw that tweet today, and I was like, this is so on track for Hunger Games, because it literally, like, name-dropped Hunger Games, and I was like, what is this tweet about? And I love how Sejanus has been like calling them out since day one. Like he was from District 2. That's where I think they said in the trilogy that the peacemakers are born. I'm hoping that this adds something to the trilogy, or I feel like this is a big waste of my time. I'd much rather Haymitch's story. So the little glimpse that we got in, it was Catching Fire or Mockingjay. I think it was Mockingjay. I didn't love it, but like I was intrigued. Like I want to know how Haymitch got to where he is. I want to know who he loved, who he didn't. I want to know more about Haymitch. He's one of my favorite characters. And then like I'm still kind of trying to piece together before it gets revealed how he ends up being the president. Oh my god. And then Lucy and Cornelius kissed. And I guess he ain't never really been like tongued down, kissed for real. Because he was like sensations surging through his body. And he was like, this is what people were talking about. Like, this is what made them go so crazy. Like, he was feeling the vibes. Also, I really hate the way Cornelius is referring to Lucy in his head, because plenty of times he's like put ownership over her and made it out to be like she belongs to him. And really the whole commentary is giving slavery, and it's making me very uncomfortable, especially with like this whole conversation with the war. I forgot to even put that. I don't know how to say this. With everything that's going on in the world, like, it's really playing on people's humanity. The rights that everyone deserves to have are being, is the word infringed upon? They're not being, you know, like, that's a privilege and a right that everyone should have. The right to freedom, to life. I don't really know what else I was gonna say about that, but like, I've just seen so many like parallels to like real life events and in this book. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be like fun, because like the whole premise of the whole series is really not fun at all. So it's weird to be like, oh, I am enjoying this. Like, I'm not really enjoying this one. So much of it is just humanity dying and people hating children and all kinds of just horrible human. But yeah, the way they view the district kids are so horrible. And then now they're like placing bets, and it's like, you can call the number on your screen and you can go to your local post office and make bets. But yeah, that's really all the updates as of right now. Hey y'all. So I finished the book. I was gonna finish off the video like kind of just doing the play-by-play of everything that happened in the book, but like, I'm honestly done with this book and I'm ready to wipe my hands of it. I definitely would reread the trilogy again, but I never want to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes ever again. Like, I kind of don't really want to watch the movie anymore. So I did give it a 3. It definitely brought down, okay, because I was like, I have so many thoughts right now. So I was trying to figure out if I liked Hunger Games or Divergent more, because they've always been the same bad to me. So the average rating for Hunger Games was 4 stars, and then the average rating for Divergent was 4.5. Hold on. It should not be looking like that. Okay, for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I gave content 2.5 stars, writing style 3.5, readability 3.25. I didn't want to be in Snow's point of view, so like that was my main gripe, which I knew if I was a better person, I would have DNF'd. Readability 3.25, plot development 3, characters 2.5. So I guess Divergent won, but like, I don't feel like one is better than the other still. So in my heart, they are equal, but the numbers do not lie. So I guess Divergent is better in my opinion. I don't want to be asked about this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I never want to bring this up again, okay? Between me and you. Now that we've gotten that out of the way. Some complaints, because after this, I don't want to talk about this ever again, like I said. So I know the book is literally called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I knew that they would be themes. Like, I didn't think there was going to be like so much singing. I am not someone that cares about musicals for real, and like, okay, I'm so sorry. But the only musical I really care about is High School Musical. And that's because it was what I grew up on. If I'm watching a movie and every like 5 minutes they want to bust out in song, it kind of irritates me. Like, unless the songs are bops, get out. Literally get out. There's music, maybe 1 or 2 songs, but like, this was in here plenty of times. Like, the only song that I really cared about was The Hanging Tree, because that was in Katniss's story. I thought that Suzanne Collins was gonna try to make Snow a more better person, but like, that wouldn't make sense because this is 60 years prior. So like, if anything, he's like the most good, the most innocent that he'll ever be in his life, because we know who he is. I do wish though, 2 things. I thought that 1, we would get how he became president. It wasn't promised to us, but I was expecting it. Obviously, he went to school and he became successful, but like, I needed to know more. 2nd, him and Tigress. Tigress is literally helping Katniss and her squad be under the radar in his city. And they grew up like this. They were sibling cousins. It's not adding up. I need to know what's going on with that. I was so confused at the end, because I'm like, also I did start skimming. I'll be really honest with you. Like, the last 10%, I was like, can we get this over with? He's gonna run away with Lucy. He gets somewhere and she goes missing to go get something, and he's like, because he just can't trust that people can actually be good, and he goes hunting for her. But yeah, he starts shooting the place up, and I'm not sure if she died or she got away, but we never hear from her in the trilogy. I don't remember, but she's not there. And then the way he did Sejanus, I don't know if his name is Sejanus, I don't even know. Setting up his brother friend is crazy. Like, he literally, everyone that's ever heard about him, he has screwed and dug a knife in the back of them. I don't know, I was looking for it to turn up a little bit more, and like, also I didn't think that Lucy and him were gonna actually be together. Like, I thought she was just using him for the games. Like, I would have much preferred that, because she deserved better. So I really hope she's somewhere alive. Like, I guess we'll never know. Then he poisoned Dean Highbottom, high as a kite bottom, I think. I was confused about that too. And then also I thought in the Hunger Games trilogy it said that he was bleeding a lot because he was poisoning himself. So, like, when were we gonna get that explanation? Like, was he eating the rat poison? Or was that, like, because the snake that Lucy sicked on him, I don't know what to say, unleashed on him, wasn't venomous. So, Dr. Gall, every time that was on this page, I was like, get that bitch out of here. They are definitely twins. Dr. Gall and Snow. Like, he was acting like he was so scared of her. She's so crazy and torturous and all this. But, like, that's literally your mama. Not literally, but that's his mother. She raised him. I did like how he coincidentally got into the lab and put the handkerchief for Lucy, because she honestly wouldn't have won if he didn't intervene on that. So, like, I'm glad that he's, like, saved her. I thought the whole, like, her winning and being the victor was so anticlimactic. Okay, it was 60% of the book and she won, and it was just like, okay, now what? And he's just giving them all these ideas. Like, he's giving them so many ideas about the games, and it's just like, these are really his games. Snow is really the mastermind behind all this, in a way. Also, I was kind of gagged whenever he became a peacekeeper. I was like, oh, look at you trying so hard to stay out of the districts. That is the end of the video. I'm so happy that this is over with. So many times in these last 3 days, I was just like, I'm just gonna scrap this part of the video and just read the trilogy. But the point was to lead up to the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So, y'all enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. I hope that you stick around and tune in for the next video. If you got this far, the next video is going to be me reading reverse harem books for a week. I'm hoping it's the next video, so honestly I should be quiet, but I'm trying to tell y'all before things happen so y'all can get, like, excited, because I don't really know how to do community posts. Like, I guess it's just typing things out, but, like, I get anxious, like, I'm saying the wrong thing. So this is what we've got. Yeah, thank you for following me on this nostalgic ride. Yeah. I don't know why I get so awkward in intros and outros. Like, I don't know, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye. I'll see y'all in the next one.